not so good, so I use Chinese to speak this class.
My English is not also is not good either. So, but I will use my bad English to translate it for you.
好，那在座应该只有2位。今天就是我们的简报大纲，那主要就是简单介绍一下星巴克的背景，跟这个 ISO 14040标准，那以及一些星巴克的功能操作。这个部分会尽管你来实际操作。
Okay, today we will introduce the background of the Singapore just like the outline. And also Joe will introduce the ISO 14040 standard. And we also will demo the Sima Pro directly by using the Sima Pro software.
好，那首先来跟大家介绍一下星巴克的背景。
So firstly, we introduce the background of the Sima Pro.
那这一套软体呢，星巴克是由荷兰这家叫 Pre Consultants 的这个公司所开发的。那第一个版本在1990年的时候发表。那到这个我应该稍微更新一下啊，目前最新的版本是9.1。
The Sima Pro, as the contents you can see, Sima Pro software is developed by the pre-consultant in Netherlands. The first version has been released in the year of 1990. The latest version, this is not correct. Right now it's already 9.1. I remember, right? Version 9.1.
那接下来就是14040标准的一个介绍。
The second, we will introduce the ISO standard, which is the 14040 standard.
那从这张图我们可以观察到，我们的所谓生命周期有7个阶段。好，那我们这边从设计，原料的这个开采，然后再到制造，包装、运输、使用跟这个产品寿命结束。那这边还会分成这个回收跟废弃2个部分。这边到老师先翻译。
Okay, to understand the Sima Pro, the first thing is that you need to understand what is the life cycle. So normally there are 7 phases in the life cycle. The first one will be design, the second one will be raw material, and production, packaging, transport, use, and the end of life. For the end of life, there are 2 scenarios. The first one is recycle, the second one is disposal.
那在这边呢，我们要特别标示一下其中原本我们所认知的应该是从原料开采一路到废弃，5个阶段。那在这里面我们插入了设计跟包装。那首先我们来谈一下设计的部分。
Okay, normally for the life cycle, there are only 5 stages, which is the blue color. Raw material production, transport, use, and end of life. However, in Sima Pro, there are 2 additional phases. One is design, the other is the package. So now Joe will introduce start from the design stage.
那我们所知道的，在设计阶段里面呢，我们如果有前面所做过的这个生命周期评估分析的话，那我们可以依照前面的分析结果，在我们设计下一个产品的时候，先去把这个我们过去用过的这些材料的这些资料调出来。那在我们重新设计排列组合的时候，我们大致就可以知道未来生产出来的产品，它会造成多大的环境冲击。
Okay, the purpose of the design stage is the function of the Sima Pro. You can, for example, you already have you already input the data in the Sima Pro previously, and then you want to redesign the products. So you can, extract out the data from the Sima Pro. Then you put the new data. Then you can compare the difference for the older design and the new design.
在这个我们能够预知未来生产出来的产品的环境冲击的这个数字之后呢，我们可以针对这个部分去做后续的一些改善，比如说替换材料或者是变更我们的制程。那这个就是我们设计阶段主要探讨的内容。
Okay, once you conduct the comparison, you can compare the difference between maybe you can replace the material, or maybe you can exchange your manufacturing process. Then you can improve the new product design.
好，那接下来我们来谈一下关于包装阶段的部分。那其实这个部分呢，一般我们都归类在加工制造的这个区块里面。但是因为任何的产品你经过这个工厂制造出来之后，当你要运送到下个地方，你必须有这个所谓包装的材料，去把这些东西集中包装起来，以便你后续的运送搬运等等的工作，也避免你的产品内容会受损。
Okay, originally the packaging should be in the manufacturing process. However, when you are manufacturing a product, you will wrap your product by the packaging and transport it into to the customer. So the Zima Pro, they just take out the packaging for separate calculation for the impact analysis.
那在这个部分呢，我们把它独立出来，应该说有些这个研究者会专门把它独立出来探讨。那这个也是因为这是每个产品都无法避免的。那一般来讲，我们计算一样也是会放在这个加工制造的这一块来做计算。
The other purpose to separate packaging because some of the researchers they are only focused on the packaging. For example, there are some like the commercial designer. They will focus on the packaging design. So that's why they also take it out. However, actually packaging process is in the process of manufacturing process.
那我们对前面的这个所谓产品的生命周期，也就是我们俗称从摇篮到坟墓的这一整个过程有个基本的概念之后，我们接下来要来谈 ISO 14040跟44这个系列的标准。那首先我们可以看到，在14040的部分，我们有3个步骤。第一个是目标跟范畴的界定，第二个是生命周期的盘查，那第3个是冲击评估。以及14044的话，指的是最后我们综合前3个部分的结果做结论的阐释。
Okay, now we will talk about the two sections. The first section is the ISO 14040 standard, which includes 3 parts of it. The first one is the -1, which is the goal and the scope. And the second one is the life cycle inventory. The third one is the impact assessment. The second part will be ISO 144. 144 is the interpretation in the result of assessment. And actually, this is additional for your information. Now the ISO standard is currently for revision. They will reduce to be 2 parts.
那我们接下来看一下，就是这个14040之一目标与范畴界定的部分。那其实在这边我们主要做的就是几件事情。第一个是我们要决定评估的目标是什么。那第二个是我们做这个评估的动机。那第3个是功能单位的设定。那在功能单位设定的部分呢，基本上我们就是要做所谓的系统边界的这个划分。
Okay, so in the first for the ISO 14041, the first thing is the goal and the scope. So you need to know why do you need to conduct the LCA. So what's your goal? The second one is that you need to based on your goal. So you need what is your reason want to conduct the LCA. And the third one is that very important is about the functional units. And for the functional unit is that you need to define your system boundary as the life cycle basis unit in the target of evaluation.
那么下面这里是一个系统边界的示意图。那从这边我们可以简单的来做我们产品的这个生命周期它制成的一个区分。那在这里你可以决定哪些东西是在你产品制成之中是你必须要去做下一阶段的生命周期盘查。那哪些部分是你可以选择性的可做可不做的自愿性盘查。
Okay, in this diagram you can see this is the system boundary. The most important for the system boundary is that you need to identify what kind of inventory you have to conduct, must conduct. What kind of inventory is not required to be conducted. So that is the system boundary.
那下一个步骤呢，我们进到所谓的生命周期盘查这件工作。那在这个里面呢，我们主要要做的就是根据我们前面画好的系统边界的范畴，在这个范畴里面呢，我们要逐笔制成去做它的这个输入端跟输出端的盘查。那在输入端我们会有所谓的材料、能源或者是其他的一些消耗性的，比如说水啊、气体啊这些东西的投入。那产出的部分呢，这边包含了有最终的成品或半成品，以及它的一些废弃物或排放物等等。
Okay, this is the life cycle stage. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't know what's this one. Okay, and on the left side is the inputs. For the inputs, you need to input what kind of data you use, how much energy do you input it, and what is the how much volume of water do you use it for the process, and for the output. Actually, it includes two parts. One part is the byproducts. Maybe your product is already finished product. Maybe your product is the semi-product. And the other one is the waste and emission. I think the waste include the waste, solid waste and the liquid waste. Emission is for the air emission.
那这边的话呢，我们主要跟大家介绍一下我们收集的这个盘查的资料的类型，主要区分成2个种类。第一个种类呢，我们把它称之为所谓的活动强度，也或者是活动数据这样子的东西。那它指的就是在你要调查的这个制程当中呢，它实际投入或产出排放的这个数量有多少？那这个东西你可以透过所谓的物料清单，也就是所谓的 BOM table 或者是物质成分表 MSDS 这样的文件来取得。那第二个部分呢，是所谓的这个排放系数。那这个东西我们主要获取的管道，你可以透过政府或者其他一些这个法人单位所公告的一些免费的或者是需要付费的这些资料库来获取，或是从付费型的商业资料库来获取，比如说像我们星巴克软体里面内建的那些项目。
Okay, normally when you conduct the LCI, life cycle inventory, you have to get two kinds of data. The first data is the intensity of activity, which is how much did you use for the material, energy, and the water, and so on. And so normally it can be, so you can get the data from the bill of material, which is the material usage table, or MSDS table. Right now, MSDS already changed to be SDS, Material Safety Data Sheet. So right now already changed to Safety Data Sheet. And also, so this is the activity data you get it. The second one is the emission factor. Normally, you can get a database from the public, from the journal, or government announcement, or maybe you can find it in the chargeable database, such as the CIMA Pro. And the other one, like the OpenLCA, is free. You also can get the database on the OpenLCA. OpenLCA. Oh, okay. OpenLCA is only the tool. Okay, sorry.
那第三个部分是我们的这个生命周期的冲击评估。那在这里，我们举一个例子，让大家了解这个阶段我们这主要在做些什么事情。比如说，我们举 Eco Indicator 95的这个评估方法，来跟大家做介绍。那在这里大家可以看到，最左边是这个它所有相关的这些算是排放或者是污染物的这些名称那当然不止这一些。那再过来呢这边是它下面所有相关的这个冲击指标，比如说我们可以看到，老师我这边要断一下，还是我继续讲？
你继续讲好，我帮你全部讲这个。
OK。那在这边我们举例我们可以看到像这个 greenhouse 就是温室的效应这个部分。那跟它有关的呢，比如说这边它连到了 CFC 或是 CO2 这两个项目跟它是有关的。那所以呢，我们制程里面只要有出现 CFC 或 CO2 的排放，经过这个方法的这个指标里面的这个技术的计算之后呢，它会进到中间，这有一个 damage assessment 损伤评估。那我们这边一般也会把它称为 midpoint 终点法，先去给它做一个计算，整合，那最后出来之后再变成一个单一的 variation 一个整合的指标分数，最后出来之后就是我们整个方法里面我们这个材料在这个所有指标计算之后得到单一冲击评估的分。
Okay. Actually, see, this is the activity data you collected from the impact. So you can get such as CFC.
Is there any possibility if I use CIMAPRO with my own database, CIMAPRO will take my database to the server? Is there any
To where?
To his own server in CIMAPRO server.
Actually, see, when we are, see, in a company, normally the company will not use the CIMAPRO to build the product level by level. Because, see, you only, in the lab, you can construct the data by level. For example, I have a plugin, right? So I generate a structure for the plugin. But see, in a company, they will not use it like that one. Because it's only one product. But in a company, they have several, more than 10 or more than 20, right? And also, CIMAPRO is only for CIMAPRO. But actually, in the real company, we have our own information system. We want directly to bridge the database with our information system.
If that's the case, is that possible? CIMAPRO will take the database from the company?
You can, but you need to get it step by step. See, the core value of CIMAPRO is the coefficient of the data.
Yes.
Right.
Thank you.
我们回到这个 material 的这个类别下面我们现在开始尝试输入我们自己的资料。
Okay, now Joe want to create its own data structure.
那比如说，我们先从建立一个新的分类开始。 比如说我们在 material 这个分类点选 new category， 那在这里输入我们自己的名字
CYCU。E 环境工程。
那照字母的排列呢，它就会跑到建筑类这个 construction 的下面，变成 CYCUE。那这边我们看到就是一个完全没有资料的一个类别，在这里我们去新建一笔资料。那我们记得要在 input output 的这个类别，这个 label 下面去建立我们的 data。
Okay, Joe wants to create its own, right? And you use the name is the CYCUE, and it will follow the sequence of the English characteristics. So that's why it's in the C level. Then you need to input your data from the input output the column.
那我们这边就先建一笔叫 test process， 然后给它1公斤的重量，当做我们的功能单位。那接下来呢，我们要在这个 input 输入端去输入我们的资料。那这边我们就直接指定从这个系统里面内建资料库的项目去捞我们要的东西。比如说，我们就可以把刚才的那个插头把它抓进来。那我们就抓这个进来，然后它一 piece 一个。那这因为我们抓进来之后呢，它这个单位基本上就是 follow 资料库里面内建的。那我们同样再抓一个不一样的东西进来，抓个 cable 好了。当然，这个数量是我自己先随意打上去的。
Okay, stop. Go back to go back to so see here. Right now you have a test process, right? Then you input. There are two results. One is the plug. The other one is the cable. See in the Cima Pro, actually this is not good because see here, one piece of the plug. The problem is that how big for your piece?
Yes.
The small one or the bigger one? But in Cima Pro it's only piece because that is the already defined. The other one is the cable, and you can say, okay, cable is 0.3 kilogram. Okay, so that is the resource you input.
And also there's another problem, Professor. How if the company does not input the same database like in Cima Pro? If we just do this, it means that the data is not come from our company, right? Come from Cima Pro. So maybe the result, the eval result is not from the company, but actually this is from the Cima Pro itself.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Because Cima Pro already have their own data, right?
Yes.
So it's the data structure.
Yes.
So they can generate data by themselves.
Yes, exactly. So
But that is the secret.
so the company will question, I don't have this material, but how can I get this impact? Something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
那么接下来再从这个能源类的地方抓一个，比如说电力的使用。
Okay, for example, in your company you have a manufacturing process and you use the electricity. So right now you add the electricity into your process. And you can choose your own country. I think they have a Taiwan, TW. So for example, the company is in Taiwan and you choose the Taiwan. For example, in Taiwan we have the supplier in China. So we also can choose the electricity in China.
对，那接下来我们稍微看一下 output 的哦，比如说我们主要关注前面3个排放源哦 ，air， 然后 water， 这个 soil。那一般来讲，可能比如说我们有空污存在的话，我们把它点开。因为这边项目很多，所以我们直接用这个。我们直接用这个单字去筛选它，那这边剩下来的项目就会是跟它这个关键字相符合的项目。因为我们现在找的是2氧化碳。好，那假设说我们今天在我们的这个工厂制程里面，我们自己侦测到，我们自己的制程有排放2氧化碳。然后0.1公斤这样的重量 ，OK， 所以我们就把它输入上去。那其实下面这2个water 跟 solid 这2个其实也是同样的逻辑去输入。那前提是取决于你的盘查表单里面确实有抓到这些东西，你才把它输入进去。不然的话，其实在这边直接输入的话，没有 data 去支撑你的这个真实的状况，那其实输入这个意义就不大。
Okay, this is the output to the air, to the water, to the soil, right? So you also, if you can get the data from the activity data, then you can input the data here. So here, you just use the carbon dioxide parcel, and then this is the CO2, right? And the value will be 0.1 kilogram.
那我们现在确定输入完资料之后，我们点存档，把它存起来。
We will make sure that the data is correct, so we just save it, and then we conduct the analysis.
那我们现在进入分析的画面。那我们现在改用这个环境足迹相关的方法 ，ILCD 2011 Midpoint Plus 里面。这边跑出来的结果，我们把它缩小一下。那这边我们就可以看到，在这边总共大概16项指标里面呢，我们的这个比如说温室那个气候变迁的部分，在这里我们可以看到，我们引用的3个项目包含了2个材料跟电力的使用，以及我们本身制程的部分自己的排放。那只有在这个气候变迁的部分有着0.1公斤的碳排放，其他部分都没有，因为我们没有在其他的这个指标上面有一些相关联的这个物质的排放，所以在这边的话，我们看到都会是叉。那其他的指标的数据包含了这个碳排放的数据就全部修在这里让大家看。那这是表格模式的部分，我们接下来再切换到这个长条图的部分。那我们一样也可以透过这个模式去解释各个指标的，在这里面这个我们总共3项的材料，再加上2项的材料，那一个能源的使用，再加上自己的制程，在各个指标的这个表现。那看起来当然最高的大概还是电线的这个部分在各个议题里面占的贡献度的百分比是最高的。
Okay, you can also see from the bar chart, right? And see the orange is the cable. So the high impact for these 3 plug, electricity, and the cable. The high impact is for the cable, which is large one. But see, you can see here, it's upside down, right? What does that mean? Because this is positive, this is negative. Yeah, this is water usage, right? So what does it mean water usage is negative?
To produce, they use
No. If they use water, the water should be this one. Here.
There's an additional
they
water.
produce water.
No, they generated water.
Yes.
They generated water. It means that we don't use the water, but we generate the water. We produce the water. So that's why this one is the negative side. So in Sigma Pro, you will see how come everything is. Sometimes you will see the negative, the sign is negative, because it didn't. Normally, the environmental impact is positive. It is produce the negative, produce the environmental impact. But when you conduct the Sigma Pro and you find that that is the negative, that means that they don't use it, but they will some good thing to our environmental impact. And see, in my team, we will try to see how come this one will be good one. This one. You see here, you have the three, right? Here only like the cable and the plug, and see the cable generate the water. Now I don't know what kind of process. We need to go to the details to find why this one is negative.
就差不多了，到这边先告一段落，看老师有没有什么要补充的。
Yeah. Joe, he say it's we can stop here for today. And any problem?
Last question, Professor. From if you're doing study of LCA,
Yes.
you also consider for the mass balance, energy balance, or something like that.
Can you consider about what?
When you're doing the study of LCA
Yes.
in some product, do you also consider for the energy balance, mass balance, or maybe water balance, something like that?
Yeah, but see, in Sigma Pro we didn't consider that one. Oh yeah, I mean the balance is very important because the input should be equal to output. Yeah, you have to consider about the energy balance and the mass balance.
So if the product is changed from the, for example, from the coal mining, it can generate from with the electricity, like a coal, and then in the process it can generate steam can be electricity. How can we consider the mass balance if the product is really different and have really different phase of product? How can we consider the mass balance in that case?
In Sigma Pro we don't have the function, but you can buy another software which is also sold by ISO.
Oh, what is the
MFCA.
software?
MFCA.
MFCA.
MF, Material Flow.
MFCA.
Accounting, analysis,
material flow
analysis. MFCA.
物质cost accounting。
Oh, material flow cost
Analysis.
cost accounting。cost analysis。
cost analysis.
So,
It's kind of material flow, right? So when you consider material, you consider about the balance of material.
because for us, for the environmental engineer, when we are talking about mass balance, it is like we are talking about how much the water, how much the energy, and
Yeah,
how
yeah,
it
I
is
know.
balanced for the.
So you will separate the input will have different several output, right?
Yes.
Then the other one also have different. They have like the MLCA, they have like the balance. I saw there are many presentations. They have like the flow balance diagram, right? And it's very colorful and very beautiful. And I also see there is some energy balance. Yeah.
So-
but I'm not familiar with that kind of material, the balance because I'm not from the environmental engineering.
Yes, I know. So we can use MFCA for the
Yeah.
balance.
Yeah. Any others?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Professor, I want to ask if I want to make a report about LCA but in my case the result is marine eutrophication, but in the in the real life, it's kind of impossible that this industry produce or impact the marine eutrophication. Can I just neglect the marine eutrophication?
Yeah, but depends on how much did you neglect. Normally we will say that is the cut off rule. Scenario to do it.
Automatically?
Yeah.
那我下面其实还有这个啦，可以解说一下。那我们这边用羊的例子来做这个解说哦。那在 allocation 这个情境里面呢，我们可以看到有两种用途不一样的羊，上面这个是肉用羊，下面这个是羊毛用的这个羊。那但是这两种羊呢，它分别都会产出羊肉跟羊毛这样的产物，那只是有的多有的少。比如说我们来看肉的部分那肉这边主要的当然是来自肉用羊比例比较高，那少部分来自羊毛用的这个羊。那这两个加起来平均之后，我们得出来的这个 data 就会是肉这一块的这个 database 在全球市场的平均值。那反过来看羊毛也是一样的概念，就是我大部分来自于羊毛用的这个羊，少部分来自肉用的这个羊，所以出来平均之后也会是羊毛在全球市场的平均值。
Well, very difficult to, it's just David. Okay, for example here, there are two, actually, this is the lamb, right? And normally we have two different products from the lamb. One is meat, you can have a lamb, right? The other one you can have the wool from the lamb, okay? If your purpose is try to calculate how much, for example, the environmental impacts of the meat, or maybe you want to calculate how much environmental footprint for the weather, wood, right? Wood, right? So you will have a different kind of scenario for that one. So here they will see here, if you want to generate the meat, most of your lamb comes from the lamb meat, and few of them comes from the wool. And if you want to generate the wool, then most of the wool comes from the wool, and that few comes from the meat. So you have a different scenario for that one.
那我们再看 consequential 这个的情境，那跟刚才这个的 allocation 的部分不一样。这边的话呢，在肉用羊出产的这个，比如说肉的部分，它当然是还是主要的分析的来源可是它产出少部分的这个羊毛，基本上就是被ignore掉了它被忽略掉了。那再来看羊毛用羊的部分，它产出的羊肉也是会被忽略掉，因为它们的量都比较少。在这个consequential的情境里面，它只看主要的热点，那比较少的部分，它就会把它忽略。
Okay, so go back to here. This one will be weighted up. I'm crazy. Okay, here is the weighted average, right? So then we'll add it together and put the average. But in the consequential here, the wool, you want to calculate you want to get the data of the meat of the lamb. It also comes from two sources. One is from meat, the other from wool, right? But this one will be ignored. The percentage will be ignored. So this one will be ignored. But if you want to get the wool, the meat will also be ignored. So this is the difference for the consequential and the allocation.
So, for the allocation, you can have different process, different material with a different line. So, the SIMAPRO, they will have automatically difference or distinguished by itself. But for the consequential, it's like reason and what is it? Yes, it is like causality process. It means that to get product A, you must have something in the line. Because the direct line is the line here in the consequential is a direct line. It means that if you need a line, mid line, you need to have a line without any wall. But in the previous, in the allocation, it means that you can have different process from
Yes.
another process, but can be calculated together.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Similar. Yeah. So for actually I think that this one is more difficult. Actually, I will suggest you to use the normal, use the allocation. Yeah. Because in the real industry, most of the resource will come from different source, right? For example, you have a 2 suppliers or 3 suppliers, so you can add your suppliers in there. Oh, okay, yeah. So we'll go back to the.
那下面还有
System unit，
system unit。接下来是 system 跟 unit 的差别哦。我这边直接进软体给大家看一下。
Okay, now Joe will directly demo what is the difference of the system and the unit. Then you can direct see the results.
那在这边呢，首先我们也要跟大家介绍一下啊。第一次操作这个软体的时候，我们要在 libraries 的这个地方去选取我们主要使用的、要引用的这些 database 的资料。
Okay, the first step, when you first time to use the Sigma Pro, you need to check what kind of database you want to use.
那比如说像我们现在这边看到的这些选项里面呢，其中最重要的是这个方法 ，method 这个地方，这个如果不打勾的话，后面的这个冲击评估我们是没有办法计算的。
Okay, the most important for the database use is the method. What is the method? For example, IPCC is included in the method. GWP is included in the method.
那其他的选项里面呢，比如说我们现在主要使用的是这个 equal event 3的这个 allocation 的这个部分，那因为它本身有区分 system 跟 unit 的版本，所以呢，我就只保留这3个，然后进到下面的 process。
Okay, because Joe wants to demo the equal event to the system and unit, so he only checked the 3 methods.
那在这里呢，我们可以看到，在这个 Sigma Pro 的这个分类里面呢，因为它这边写中文，大家可能看不太懂。这个是 material。
Can you go back to this one? Go back, yeah. Okay. See here, this one is actually it should be English version in your computer. So this is raw material, energy, transportation, process, usage, and disposal. So you have a different kind of manufacturing process, and also you can click it and it will extract the data. And the first one will be the raw material. You can see agriculture, ceramics, chemical construction, electronics, fuels, glass, and so on.
那这边我们就来看一个，比如说，这个电子材料，插头啊。
Okay, Joe click the plug in, right?
对，电脑用的这个。
For the computer cable.
那这边我用 Ctrl 点选2个把它一起点起来。那我们现在直接跑一个 compare。
He used the control directly. Remember when you put the control with so you press control and you can click these 2 items together. Then he will conduct the comparison and you can see what's the difference between the system and units.
那我们现在点这边这个 compare 的按钮，进到比较分析的这个画面。那这边呢，进到这个计算设定的画面之后呢，首先我们要来换一下我们的评估方法。在 method 的这边我点2下，这个要等一下，不会卡住。
Okay, Joe originally used the IRCD midpoint the method, and right now he wants to change to be this one, IPCC 108.
那我们确认一下这两个它的数量都跟单位都没有错的话，我们就点选 February。那这边我们就稍等它。
Okay, he just cleared, so Singapore needs time to proceed the result. It takes time, right? Wow, we need to wait for 3 to 5 minutes. I think that your computer needs to upgrade. It's okay. See, Singapore is kind of hierarchy. For example, this is plug-in, right? But under the plug, there are several different kind of material. So Singapore had to get a lot of different material, then make the hierarchy to be the final. Maybe Joe can show you what's the hierarchy.
这边看不到。
Oh, anything like that. So, any problems so far? Any problems so far? Is my English okay?
Professor,
Yes.
so far, I'm just curious if this application can be used for calculate in the if we probably have data from only the laboratory scale. Is it possible to use this application for lab cycle?
I mean, if you have your own, what kind of data you have? Is the emission factor or your activity data?
Like activity data from experiment. For example, I do a lot of experiments
Okay.
using material, and there are some conversions about the raw material into the final residue, and I
Okay.
want to use this software to calculate, but
That is the purpose for you.
Ah,
You just input your activity data,
oh, okay.
such as how much material you use
Okay.
and how much emission you generate. You just fulfill all the data you have. Then SimaPro can help you to find the. No, you have to pick the database for yourself. Okay.
So as long as we have data, but only laboratory scale is no problem as long as we have enough data.
I'm sorry for you. The next one is.
I mean, as long as we have enough data, even if it's only a laboratory scale, not from company or something like this, I think it's
It depends because depends on how much data you have.
okay.
If I need 10 data but you only have 1 data from your laboratory scale, how can I help you?
Okay.
Okay. So they can SimaPro, the database is there. Depends how much you can use it.
那这边结果已经跑出来了哈。从这边我们来看，它两个版本的数字其实是都一样的，都是0.396公斤的 CO2 排放量。那这边的话呢，我就先跳出去一下啊，数字大家都看到了啊，0.39。
Okay, see here. Yeah, don't want to tell you.
OK。
Okay, the result for the system and the units, the results are the same. So please remember the number, 0.396 here.
那我们接下来来看这两笔资料的内容。
Okay, now we'll see more detail about the content.
OK， 我们先看 system 版本的。
Okay, this is for the system.
好，那在输入端的部分，从这边大家可以看到一长串的这个都是蛋糕这个元素几乎的元素阶层的这个东西。比如说光这个水的部分呢，它就依不同的地区区分成这么多种类的水。OK，
Okay, for the system level, see, it includes all the system. For example, here water, and here will be from different country, such as I think this one, the rail, and this is China. This is China.
这个对，川港是这个，这个应该是瑞士。
Okay, this is Switzerland. And
the
Netherlands, right? So they come from different. See, I mean the data comes from different countries. Okay, so this is the system level, more complete, right?
基本上它就像是你用一根锤子把一个东西敲成粉末一样。
Too difficult for me to choose. It looks like there is the stone, and you use the hammer to hammer it, right? And it will be cracked in different small particles.
Is it be powder?
So, Professor.
Yes.
If my study is classified in Indonesia, but there is no water origin from Indonesia, how can I change the database?
他说让我用印尼的水，那他如果没有印尼的水，
其实我们可以找找看，但是如果没有的话，原则上我们就是要么用邻近的跟你比较像的，或者是就直接拿全球的平均值去替代它。
Okay, so for example, your question is that if I use the product was produced in Indonesia, right?
Yes.
And I need the local data from Indonesia.
Yes.
And I cannot find it in the SIMA Pro.
Yes.
So what should I do?
Yes.
The first one I can use the neighborhood. For example, I can use the Malaysia or Philippines. If I cannot find it, I can use like the Asia. If I still cannot find the data from Asia, I can use the global average. Yeah. But see, you just mentioned about the very important thing, which is the data quality. Actually, for the LCA, it's not in the SIMA Pro, but for the LCA, the data quality is also an issue. The data quality was not only issue for the area, but also for the time. See, for example, when you try to select the database from the SIMA Pro, and the best data you can find is the year 2000. Can you use it or not? You can use it. If you didn't use it, then you don't have the data to use it, right? But the data quality will be degraded. I can share the paper from me to you. I talk about the data quality. It's not only for the function, technical. For example, we have a same product but have a different kind of production, right? So I can choose the similar production.
One question from the system database. Could you please go back to the system?
Okay. Would you go back to the system?
For this one.
Because you already have experience for the SIMA.
Yes.
So that's why you
There's
have
a
a
lot
lot of
of
questions.
For example, when you calculate using the FECC in the previous example, the method, is it using an accumulative standard? We have a lot of water here, water from Britain, from US and something like that. Is it calculated by the accumulation, or SIMA Pro can automatically choose one of them for the FECC, for the previous example?
If you choose the method, the SIMA Pro will automatically and directly to calculate it by his scenario.
Oh, so we don't know for the scenario.
We don't know. SIMA Pro will not tell you.
I see.
So sometimes some people will doubt. For example, we are in Taiwan, right? And our energy bureau, we have calculated the carbon carbon emission for our electricity. But our data is different to the SIMA Pro. So we challenge the SIMA Pro. How come your carbon emission for 1 degree electricity is higher than Earth. Then we are the local, and the Energy Bureau, they don't then sell very much, right? So they just challenge the CIMA Pro. And CIMA Pro said, oh yes, but we cannot tell you why.
Because I have also experience, I think with Gary, last year when I ran with the CIMA Pro, we don't have any data about landscape. But in CIMA Pro, the result of the environmental impact, they have a land use change. So it is really confusing.
We don't know. But since CIMA Pro is the dominant, because it is the international. So far, we didn't believe the results of CIMA Pro. However, since it's very international, so we choose to believe it. Because, for example, in Taiwan, there are some manufacturers. Their customer asked them. See, in Taiwan, we also have a local database, but it's not international. So the customer will challenge you. So this is the Taiwan local. How can you prove its validation? We cannot say anything. However, if we just show this data, this result comes from the CIMA Pro, they say, okay, good. We don't have to explain anything.
And another question, if I already have data in the database, can I delete the system database in the CIMA Pro?
No,
No?
it's default.
By default. So it means
You only can create your own project. You can create your project, then choose the data into your project.
I see.
But the default project you cannot delete it. CIMA Pro is not allowing you to do that one. For example, you can delete any function of the Windows. No way.
So this system will be automatically calculated for the method in the CIMA Pro.
Yeah. CIMA Pro already default the method and database. So you just choose the method and the database. That is only for the library database. But you can also create your database, and you also can add your
One database.
Yeah, you can also add your database into your project.
So we can start the project from the scratch, I mean from the zero. Is it still fine in the CIMA Pro? Creating our own database.
Yeah. It's really like the you can build all your project.
Built from the scratch, right? From the
Yeah.
scratch.
You see, CIMA Pro already provide the database for you, right? But you can create your project, but you can pick the database you want to use it. It's okay. Please continue.
那我应该要看一下这个，我们改看 unit 的这个部分。那我们点进来之后呢，我们往下拉看一下它的输入端 ，OK。那它的栏位跟我们前面看到的不一样，原本的在 system 的栏位它全部归属在这个阶层，因为它这边写中文嘛，就是 raw， 它代表说 raw material 的意思。那我们这边呢，第二个栏位这里开始，它代表是我们从资料库里面拉出来的资料库寄存的这些 material， 就是已经加工过的 material。所以我们这边可以看到，这边出现的这些名称基本上就是加工过的制成、加工过的材料，所以理解上不会像我们前面看到的那么困难，而且它的项目也比前面少很多，因为这边出现的主要就是它的一阶的组成。
Okay, and for the unit, it's not much complete. It's only show the first level of its the component or the material or the chemical elements. Yeah.
那从这里，比如说我们现在看到它其中有一项这个组成叫做铜，那我们在上面点右键，Go to， 我们又可以再看它下一阶的组成。那我们就可以看到，比如说这个1公斤的铜，它下面的组成就有这一些，来自世界各个不同地区的铜，然后透过这个运输的过程，一起平均，最后我们得出这个1公斤的铜的这个 全球平均值的这个组合平均的数据。
Okay, for example, Joe, he just click the copper, right? And then you can double click copper, then it will go to the next level of the copper. And from here, so you just this one GLO is the global. So what is the global? The global average of the copper. So So when you see the global of the copper, it comes from different countries, right? Oh, this one, see, this one is Russia, and this one is SE, this one is ZA, and so on. Okay, and they also include the transport.
那但是呢，我们这两个就是 S 跟 U， 那我们回想一下我们前面看到的那个0.396的数字，这两笔其实就是一样的数字。我们这两个刚刚算出来的这个0.396，这两个一样的数字，基本上我们就是这个就是同一笔数据，只是它以不同的形式去呈现。
So the difference for SU, actually they are the same, but in different presentation for you.
那然后呢，一般我们在做分析的时候呢，这边我们可能尽量的推荐使用 Unit 版本的资料。那为什么呢？因为接下来我们要做这个分析，它的这个算是它的制成内容的这个主要的组成的时候呢，比较容易去看它的那个组成这样。
So normally we will recommend you to use the unit because it is easy for you to see the component. See, for the system is very big, right? And it will be more difficult to calculate. So see, oh, okay. See, right now he is trying to see the network of the results.
那还有一个就是有优点，它也有缺点啊。用 U 的版本去跑资料的话，需要的时间会比较久；用 S 跑的话，一下就出来。那在我们看这张图之前呢，我们先留意一下，这里有一个 cutoff 的百分比。那它设定这个 cutoff 的用意呢，主要是因为我们这个图本身它的篇幅是有限的。如果我们把它设成0的话，它全部的项目都会一起显示，就是不分它在这个就是评估指标计算下的这个冲击贡献度的大小，不管是0.00001%还是90%几，通通都会秀出来。
Okay, see here, the 0% means the cutoff. So what is the cutoff? For example, you have 100 components. and all the components have the contribution, right? So it will, if you set a 0, so that is all the flow they will be will show to you. But if you say 95%, then they will cut off the 5%. So this one is a 0. So this is very complicated. I guess Sigma Pro already.
它全部跑出来的话，
You already show all of it, right? So it's a kind of network, very complicated network. So nobody will choose like a how much? 10 or what?
电脑稍微背着看，好，我把它改成1%以下的项目会被隐藏哦，但是它在这个里面它还是存在的，它只是被隐藏起来而已，没有真正的被卡掉。
So for example, 1%. What does that mean? Under 1%, the material will be hidden, will be hidden.
对，那所以我们现在看到的这个哦，就变得比较单纯一点。
For example, see here is the plug, right? In the plug, there is the here printed circuit board, printed wiring board, right? So for the plug, there inside a printed circuit board. Remember, I asked you to disassemble a cell phone. So there is several different kinds of material what will belong to the product. So plug, there is the copper and the printed circuit board, PWC, E, and so on.
So can we say that the upper level of the impact assessment in the plugin is it accumulated from the other process?
Yes, because you should understand that the plug-in is kind of product, right? B and CD and so on. This is the sucks and nuts, right? And then when you input this data, then they have the impacts for our environment. So for example, for the greenhouse effect, it comes from the CFC, it also comes from the CO2. Actually, you also know that there are another different CO2 equivalent gas will cause the greenhouse effect. Then this effect will be summarized to be the damage. And normally, I remember this is the midpoint and this is endpoint. And then you also can summarize all the impacts to be final to be the eco indicator, a value. See here for CO2, it's kind of like the kilogram, right? And for the ozone, probably it's not a kilogram. It's something like so. The metric or the unit is different. However, there are some researchers, they just summarize and conduct some assumption. So finally, they will come out like an indicator, which is PT, point. So for example, here will be 2 points, here is the 3 points, but then they will finalize aggregate the results. But this is assumption for the eco indicator. Hey, Hannah, you are not in this department.
Yes.
Are you from Sivo or Kashimada? We can stay there, more clear.
那最后一个部分就是结论阐释的这个项目。那在这里呢，我们主要做前面3个阶段的回顾跟这个一些就是阐述之外呢，那我们主要也要针对我们做出来的分析结果做一个改善的一个展望也好，或者是计划也好。那最后产出的这些文字你可以选择把它写成一份这个文件那呈现的形式有简单的也有复杂的。那主要是看你要针对什么样的对象去做沟通，比如说你对政府对这个一般消费者，或是对你的供应链或是对其他的一些相关的这个利害团体等等，你的沟通形式都会不一样。
Okay, after you conduct the LCA, the most important is the last one, which is the ISO 14044. It's the interpretation. Okay, what is the reason for the interpretation? For example, you get the impact data, impact result, right? If you want to communicate with the government, how much impact do you have it? Or maybe you can conduct your, you can interpret the result to your customer, or maybe you can interpret your result to your stakeholders. So different. See, actually, the data is the same. However, the interpretation will be different. Okay. So here is some like a simple example. I remember this is LG, which is the year of 2005, right? Because yeah, because I use this, probably 15 years ago. In my class, I will use this one to give my lecture. Yeah, because there is LG. He shows that this is the LCD screen, right? And they have a different kind of LCD screen. So they will show, okay, for 42 inches, for the 50 inches, for the 70 inches, what is the impact, environmental impacts for that one. So your customer will use it. And actually right now in the industry, in Taiwan, many suppliers, their customer will ask them to conduct the LCA. See, I mean, this is additional, not in his schedule, in his lecture. Can I? See, right now in Taiwan, some customers, when they request the order from the customer, I mean, they didn't really order it. They will ask them how much CO2 emission for your product, because they want to conduct the lower supply chain. So they don't want to, give you the order, then ask you the result. They want to know the result first, then determine want to give you the order or not. So that is the power from LCA right now. Because Joe already explained, you have a design stage, right? So during the design stage, remember we have an experience in my class, right? You just key in how much material you use, then you can roughly calculate the LCA results. Right? But that is limited because the actual data you didn't collect it, such as like the manufacturing activity, right? How much energy you use. However, if you have previously data or previous product, you can accumulate your experience, then you can know the result you have. Sorry, I didn't follow you. That's why I'm the professor. But now he is an expert because he knows the SimaPro much better than me.
那我们接下来就开始针对 SimaPro 的功能做一些介绍。那里面包含像是使用的界面那资料的输入跟这个 LCI 的资料库的部分，那以及最后的这个冲击评估的计算。
Okay, now we will talk about the future in SimaPro. And there are 4 parts for the SimaPro. The first one is user interface. The second one is the data input. The third one is the LCI database. The fourth one is the LCI calculate.
那首先先让大家看一下我们主要的使用界面。那这边也许大家看不清楚，我直接开软体给大家看一下。这是我们现在主要操作的使用界面。那在左边这一整个就是我们所有功能的这个 label 标签。那我们主要操作的界面在这里，就是 inventory 底下的 process。
Okay, the left side is all the function we have in the SimaPro. And normally we will use this one, the inventory, because the goal and the scope is here. I know that right now SimaPro can help you to publish the result, right?
其实这个还没办法，就是我们只能单独做。
Oh, okay. So here already, see here, So you look at this one, Go and Scope, which is the ISO 40041, right? And this one is the LCI, which is the 42. This is the impact assessment will be 43. And this one will be interpretation will be 44. So this is the ISO standard, right? And SIMAPRO have this one, but it's not completed. The future or the goal is that if you can input everything here, then it will automatically to generate the report, LCA report. But so far the function is not yet, right? And还没办法。
就是一次输出整个的还没办法，就单独抓录。那首先要先让大家知道一下，我们第一次使用这个软体的时候，我先接到前面这里来。这个是我们进入软体之前，要先决定开启旧的专案，或是新增新的专案。那在这边我们可以看到有两个 type， 因为这边写中文啊，待会我跟老师讲一下，程式部专案是 library project， 然后专案就是 project。那我们一般编辑的时候，我们是选用就是专案就是 project 这个属性。那 library project 它代表的是软体里面内建的项目，是我们没有办法去编辑的，那就是单纯放在那边给我们用的这样。
Okay, so before you use it, see here, if you want to use the SIMAPRO, there are two functions. One is create the new project. The second one is open the existing project. And during the project, here you can see there is that is the Chinese. For there is still the Chinese or English version. Here. Oh, okay. I think that Joe said that actually the version should be English version, but in his computer shows the Chinese. So here you will see like this one is the project, and this one is the program project. Library project. Okay, library project. And the difference for this one is library project means that it's already default. For example, you know the eco event, right? It's the default library project. And the project is that you create a project. So you can create your own project. So here you can see like EY and the introduction to SIMAPRO and NCKU, which is the National Cheng Kung University. So it's the project we can create by ourselves. So you also can create your own project.
Professor.
Yes.
In the ecosystem database, there is a cutoff at point system unit. What is the meaning of that? The cutoff of classification.
Where?
Yes.
This one?
Yes, allocation.
Allocation at point of substitution system and unit.
Yes, what is different system and unit, and what is
Okay, yeah, a good question. You expanded. The most difficult is the system and unit. Very good question. Joe said that he already prepared your answer later.
Okay.
好，那当然我现在先讲。
He changed his mind. He wanted to say it first. Actually, our student also understand the answer, right? 他们当然知道啦。他们如果不知道，他们就毕不了业。
那这样我应该不用用中文。
那你现在讲。给你讲。
在这边哈，这个 eco event 它本身分成，我们这边看到有1、2、3、4、5、6个版本。那这边我首先讲一下，刚才问到是 allocation at point of substitution 这个，那这边又有分成两种，就是 allocation 这边分成一个是上面这个嘛，然后还有下面这个 cutoff 的这个。那这两个差别基本上是这样啊，最上面这个我们可以把它当成是最完整的揭露的这个资料库内容的一个版本，也就是说，今天你这个制程里面你不管投入什么东西，产出什么东西，排放什么东西，就算你的这个活动数据你的量再怎么大或再怎么小只要有在这个制程里面出现，它就会揭露出来。 那第二个这个部分呢，它这个 carton 的意思呢，就我这边的理解是，它算是为了有模拟到一些所谓回收阶段的一些 data， 所以它自己会用这样的概念去 carton 掉了部分的这个回收的这个算是正向的影响的一个这个冲击，所以这个会有扣比的作用，也就是所谓我们理解上的 carton。那本质上这两个是这个算是上面的 allocation， 然后再加上它的一个回收模拟阶段。但是正常我们使用的话，我们还是以上面这个为主 ，OK？ 因为这个我们计算上比较完整。那第二个是我们实际上在计算回收的时候，不见得我们会依照它的情境，就是依照这个版本的情境来做，所以我们用这个还是比较好的。那当时同学我下面再解释。
那你seasoning unit, okay. First, seasoning unit analysis. The first one I explained. See here, there are six database, right? Normally we can separate two different kind of database. First one is the system, the second will be unit, right? And see, I will introduce the allocation and the point and the allocation cutoff. Normally for the allocation and points is more complete. See, we say the life cycle, right? And all the material, all the process, right? So this one, allocation and point is more completely include everything in the process. And for the cutoff, normally we assume that this one can be recycled. So they have their own scenario. SimaPro has their own scenario for the recycle. So he just cut up it. But however, in the practice, I would suggest you to use the allocation and point because it is more complete. And if you say, that is recycled, the easy one is that you don't have to put the data into the activity data. So we will suggest you to use this one, normal, because this one we really don't know what is the scenario for the SimaPro for the cutoff. And sometimes the SimaPro will not explain it very much and very clearly for the cutoff rule.
接下来我再来讲一下关于这个，下面还有一个consequential 这个版本，那它的概念跟上面这个 allocation 是有点反过来的。那它其实指的就是我们，它是以我们的推测，它是以重量当做基准，在这个制程里面呢，如果你的这个某些这个成分的含量在一定比例以下，它会把它卡掉，然后由原本留着的那些部分再把它放大回100%。那这个概念呢，我简报里面其实有几页在说明这个。这个就是我们这个 allocation 跟 consequential 这两个概念的不同。那这边的话，我不知道看老师要怎么讲比较好。
Okay, for the allocation, I just explained what is allocation, right? It's more complete, right? And for the consequential, it means that sometimes in your product, the percentage of some few material is not 100. For example, you cannot inventory a lot, right? So you maybe only have a 97% or 95%. So SimaPro will, detect the small. He will exclude some small parts by weighting. For example, your weighting is less than 2%. I don't know, but Joe he just mentioned that, for example, the weighting percent is less than 2%. Then SimaPro will exclude it. However, SimaPro will reveal it to be 100%. Do you understand? For example, you have a 100 kilogram your product, right? And there are several small parts which is less than 2 kilograms. So he just exclude all the material out of it. However, SimaPro will reveal to be 100% again. He will use his